Hi, my name is John Evers and I am the principal of George L. Myers Elementary in Portage, Indiana. The title of my action inquiry project is Taking Steps to Becoming a Better You. The reason behind this action inquiry project was that I had not only noticed in myself negative physical and emotional changes, but these changes were also becoming more apparent to my staff at school. These changes included gaining around 15 pounds, not smiling when walking around the building, as well as snapping at and becoming short with family and friends outside of school. This is not the person I want to be, nor the leader I envisioned myself becoming. Therefore, I knew I needed to enlist a change. I strongly believe as a leader, you must lead by example. If I am asking my staff to be happy and present for the students, then I must be the same way for my staff. Over the past few years, the stresses of running a building has led me to a more sedimentary lifestyle. I no longer find myself getting to pop into classrooms all the time or able to go check on kids out at recess. Instead, I find myself hunkered down in my office more and more, which I do not enjoy. Therefore, the purpose of my action inquiry project was to provide myself with an outlet to relieve stress so that I can be more productive during the day and energized to tackle the necessary complications that arise during the normal workday. My goal as a building leader is to provide my staff an environment in which they can work and conduct themselves that is conducive to learning. With this purpose, I wondered if I am not at my best, how can I expect my staff to be at theirs? This led me to wonder how I could make changes that would not only have a positive impact on my personal life, but also a positive impact on my staff and school. Being in my 4th year as a principal, I have reflected and made adjustments over the years, and I have found that big changes do not always equate to big positives. Therefore, I was wondering how I could get the biggest positive impact out of the minimalist of change. My first step was to enlist the honest opinions from a few staff members to see if they, too, had observed the same negative characteristics in my demeanor and leadership. So I spoke with my secretary, my school advisor, my health assistant, and one teacher. These individuals I knew would be able to be honest with me without worrying about a negative consequence. I pulled the group together and spoke with them all at once, so that no one person felt isolated, and explained that I had noticed lately I had not been the best leader I wanted to be. I explained that I feel that I am always cooped up in the office and I am not really present in the building. I asked them if they agreed and if they had noticed anything additionally. They explained that they typically only see me in the office and that the students would definitely benefit from seeing me more. They also said that when they do see me in the hallways, I am always rushing off to a discipline issue, and oftentimes my frustration is very apparent on my face. After the honest feedback, I explained to the group my plan of reducing these concerns by increasing the number of steps I take each day, getting out into the building to be more present. I told them that I was going to ask their honest feedback as a period checkpoint on my progression towards my goal. Upon completion of meeting with my staff, I knew I needed to be more visible. However, I also knew I could not simply forego my principal duties either. So I decided to record for 1 week the number of steps I took each day to get a baseline to help establish a goal for my action inquiry project. After 1 week, I noticed I averaged 4,950 steps per day. From here, I decided to try to increase my daily step average by 25% to a total of 6,188 steps per day. Finally, I set off and began my data collection. In order to collect data for my action inquiry project, I used my Samsung Galaxy S7 phone and Galaxy Frontier S3 smartwatch. These two devices help track each step I took during the 8-week period of time that I recorded my steps, which was from January 6th to February 29th of this school year. I also wanted to collect verbal accounts from those 4 individuals so that I could hopefully see a positive increase in my demeanor as I noticed by my staff. I had the group decide amongst themselves each week who would write me a note of my overall demeanor and productivity. They would then type it up and put a copy in my mailbox each week without a name, so the sheet was unbiased. The results. I recorded my steps taken over the 55-day period spanning from January 6, 2020 to February 29, 2020. Over this period of time, I walked a total of 475,096 steps, which averaged out to 8,638 steps per day over the 55-day period. My targeted step goal each day was 6,188 steps, which I achieved 47 out of the 55 days. Of the 8 days I did not reach my goal, 6 of those days fell on the weekend, which did not affect my presence in the building. The other 2 days fell during the week. However, they were comprised of mandatory meetings that made movement less than optimal. Nonetheless, during my data collection, I noticed that the second half of my data collection, the number of steps I was taking each day really started to increase tremendously. The positive feedback I received from my staff and the overall increased energy I was experiencing caused me to naturally want to increase my performance and strive to do even more. Some of the feedback I received from those 4 individuals include, from week 1, John seems to be making a conscious effort to get out about more often. His increased presence in the hallways is welcoming but a little surprising. Week 2, John's constantly stating I need to get my steps as he looks at his watch. He must have set himself reminders to keep moving. Week 3, each morning John comes in with a smile on his face. He seems to be well rested and seems to have more energy. Week 4, John's increased movement is no longer a shock. Myself and all of the other teachers enjoy him coming in and checking on us more often, and the kids are really benefiting from seeing Mr. Evers outside of the office. Week 5, John seems to be everywhere. The students are constantly saying, "There goes Mr. Evers." Week 6, John is happy. Week 7, I think it looks like John has lost some weight, not that he had much to lose. I am exhausted watching him move around as much as he is. Week 8, I never would have thought that simply increasing your steps would have such a positive impact on someone's overall demeanor, but it has for John. My discoveries. Small steps have huge impacts. Obtainable and enjoyable goals increase the likelihood of continuation. Small steps have huge impacts. Over the duration of my action inquiry project, I noticed the following changes. I lost 8 pounds. I received multiple compliments from staff on my overall happy demeanor, and I also found being present in the building for the students and staff led to a decrease in the stresses that I took home with me that used to affect my personal life outside of the school day. Obtainable and enjoyable goals increase the likelihood of continuation. I found that during my action inquiry project, setting a goal of 25% increase in the number of steps taken each day was very obtainable. I know that some people shoot for 10,000 steps right off the bat. However, this number would have been a daunting task that I would have struggled to naturally hit. I did ultimately hit 10,000 plus steps a day on a number of occasions towards the end of my data collection. However, it was a progression to that level, not simply something right out of the gate. The balancing act of pushing myself out of my comfort zone, which was increasing my steps, by making obtainable a 25% increase to 6,188 steps per day was the key to my success. Where am I headed next? Upon completion of this action inquiry project, I have gained insight and learned a few important truths about myself and my school. My school is a family that strives to help those in need and pick those up who are struggling. I learned from my family that despite the fear of telling your boss that he looks unhappy or that the staff and the students miss seeing him because he is in the office all the time, it is important to have these honest conversations and be open about the areas of needed improvement at all levels. To be an effective leader, you must understand your own motivations, strengths, and weaknesses. Regardless of your position, I have been reminded that we all can grow and should grow. Growth is not always comfortable or easy. However, the end result is definitely worth the effort. One of the areas I was most concerned with was getting feedback from my staff. However, I have found this to be one of the best takeaways from this project. Schooley states that a true self-assessment of your own leadership can be difficult, so mentors, fellow professionals, and even your own staff are invaluable in evaluating your effectiveness. I plan on continuing to ask for feedback about my demeanor and leadership as it makes me more aware and allows me to continually grow and improve. Thank you.